On January 8th, 2019, the Honorable Jared Polis was sworn in as the 43rd governor of the state of Colorado. Polis was sworn in, becoming the very first Jewish governor of Colorado and the very first gay man to hold the position in the United States. Prior to becoming governor, Mr. Polis had an incredibly successful career as an entrepreneur and most recently as a 5-term congressman in the U.S. House of Representatives. As a philanthropist, Governor Polis's work mainly focused on public education, including ensuring that technology is available to students as they pursue their studies. At Governor Polis's swearing-in ceremony, he used a siddur, a Jewish prayer book, during his historic oath of office. Governor Polis, we are so grateful to have you join us today. AZA and BBG, please welcome Colorado's Governor, Jared Polis.
Let's give it up for Miriam. Wow, there's so many microphones here. I don't know which one to speak from. It's a tough act to follow America's sweetheart, Adam Rippon, right, everybody? Well, hello, BBYO. Thank you for having me today. I'm excited to be here. I hope you are enjoying your stay here in the Mile High City in beautiful Colorado. I understand some of you are going in different groups to explore different parts and features of our amazing city here today. They say that scientists say that the first person has been born that will likely live to 150 years old. And so I know that many of you probably join me in hoping that that person's name is Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Not because of ideology, just because we hope that every accomplished, amazing, incredible Jewish woman lives to 150 years old, right? And by the way, she is back at work today. Your generation fills me with such hope. I know that the theme of this conference is our turn. I have a little bit of an issue with that because the truth is, when it comes to getting involved and leading others, there is no waiting for your turn. You don't need to ask permission to fulfill your dreams. The barriers to entry, the barriers to that pursuit are being torn down, and you simply need to seize the day to make it your turn, because anybody with a smart idea and the diligence to follow through can be an inventor or an entrepreneur. Anyone with passion and a voice can be an activist. Anyone can make the world better, and you will. Malala Yousafzai didn't ask permission when she started speaking out at age 11 about the condition for girls in Afghanistan. Students at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland didn't wait for anybody's permission to start advocating for gun safety. I recently read a story about a young Jewish woman in Los Angeles, Natalie Hampton. She was experiencing bullying in school and saw other children being bullied. So again, without getting permission, she said it was my turn, and she started an app called Sit With Us, where students could find someone to sit with at lunch. And 2 years later, over 100,000 people have used that app. Young people across the world don't need to ask permission to start solving problems that often are given to them by the older generation. Young people across the world need to get to work on sustainability, on improving the quality of life. They need to grab the biggest megaphone that you can find to start speaking your minds, to inspire others to action, and change the lives of people around you the better. In my career, of course, I've heard many naysayers. People said, aren't you a little young, or shouldn't you wait your turn, or can Colorado elect a Jewish governor, or can Colorado elect a gay governor? You know, I heard it when I started my first company out of my college dorm room, when I ran for State Board of Education at age 25, when I ran for Congress at age 33. But I stand here before you now as Colorado's first Jewish governor. You are all, amazing individuals. In the Jewish tradition, of course, you're all your own universe, and I have no doubt that you will rise to meet the challenges you face. And that's one thing I encourage you to do, especially when you're young, is be bold and take risks. If you're afraid of failure, you'll never succeed. The most successful people in the world try new things, and you know what? Sometimes they fail and they fail again, but they keep taking risks. You learn from failure. You fail forwards, and it can make you a better person, and it can make your chances of success more likely going forward. Frankly, if you are succeeding in everything you do, you're not aiming high enough. Keep challenging yourself, taking risks. Success is sweetest when you help other people in the process of succeeding as well. Our ancestors knew that helping others is not just good for the recipients of the good deeds, but it's also good for the doer of the good deeds, a mitzvah. That's why we're taught that taking action to better the lives of those around us is not just a privilege we can choose on, it is our duty, our responsibility. It is a mitzvah. Rabbi Tarfon, a Mishnah sage, once said, "The day is short, the work is great. It is not your task to finish the work, but neither are you free to exempt yourself from it." The Torah teaches us that mitzvot are not optional. Tikkun olam is not optional. Tzedakah and giving back is not optional. It is our duty to lift up our fellow men and women, and as custodians of the planet, the plants and animals and ecosystems. It's our responsibility to give a voice to the voiceless. It's our obligation to help solve the problems the world throws at us and to learn from the Jewish experience, including the most recent experience of tragedy and Holocaust in the 20th century, to make sure that no other peoples ever have to face that kind of fate, never again. We must focus on what brings us together and what unites us rather than what divides us, building bridges of understanding, not walls of fear. From climate change to income inequality to data security, the world presents a new problem every day. And the old ones, war, famine, injustice, still persist despite our progress. And in these troubling times of resurging nationalism and anti-Semitism, there are also some bright lights of human understanding and hope. For those of you who follow the news, you might know that just yesterday, the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia has renamed itself as North Macedonia. We have some North Macedonia fans in the room. And the reason that this is a triumph of statescraft is that there's also a province called Macedonia in Greece, and there was a naming dispute. North Macedonia wanted to call themselves Macedonia. It had been called the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia. Greece had a province of Macedonia, which is the likely historical stomping grounds of a certain Alexander the Great, who you might have heard of. Gay, by the way. And so what happened is, despite the nationalistic opposition on both sides, despite Greeks saying, we want Macedonia, despite the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia saying, we want to be Macedonia, they actually compromised. And so Greece will be able to continue to have a state of Macedonia, and the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia is now called North Macedonia. It passed both the Greek parliament and the Macedonian parliament despite protests from nationalists, and it is now paving the way for the entry of Macedonia into NATO and the European Union. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice." I know that's true when we take action. It is not the universe innately, it is us forming the universe. It is us making the universe. It is your words and your deeds that bend the arc of the moral universe towards justice. We're going to need all hands on deck for Tikkun Olam, to repair our world. And I'm glad and inspired to have you, the next generation of Jewish leaders, as partners in this quest. You know, in my life, my motto is always dream, dare, and do. That served me well over the course of my career. To be able to recognize a vision or pursue a vision, you need to have that vision. You need to dream. You need to dare to pursue those lofty goals, and you need to do the hard work, the sweat, the implementation. And I hope that you take those words to heart and use them to guide your experience and the experience of your friends as you go on to lead across the civil sector, the private sector, the public sector, the faith sector throughout your lives. As the governor of the great state of Colorado, for those of you who are visiting, I want to welcome you to the great state of Colorado. For those of you who are Coloradans, thank you for being such great hosts to our Jewish friends from all over the country. Thank you.